Welcome back, guys, to another episode of Driven by Christ Auto. It is, alright, so to recap on our last episode, we helped a boy out that decided to take his daddy's LS swap BMW out for a little joyride. I think somebody was street racing, and I think a control arm bushing gave it up, and he lost control of the vehicle and took it off the road. But anyways, we got everything fixed for the boy, and we ain't heard nothing back on that. So we'll probably hear something back on that in a few days. Hopefully, we will get some more work for our business, because we did do the Christ loving thing. Even though we know the boy was kind of fibbing about what he did, we possibly saved that boy's life. So cause, ooh, boy, if I would have found out one of my kids took one of my cars out and tore it up while I was gone, ooh. But anyways, before we get started today, we're going to share a message from our Lord. Wise Jesus, you have been teaching us that understanding will never bring us peace. Your word instructs us to trust you with all of our heart instead of relying on our own understanding. This verse challenges us every day in our own lives. Yes, I will say that 100%. Every day I get challenged with this. Um, it's just there. Just don't try to figure it out yourself. Go into prayer and let things happen like they're supposed to. But anyways, we confess that we have an appetite for trying to figure things out, attempting to gain a sense of mastery over our life. But the world presents us with an endless series of problems. As soon as we master one set of difficulties, another set rises up and unsettles us. Now, that's true. As soon as you get over one thing, here comes another thing that the devil's going to throw right in front of your face, and you got to rely on Jesus to get you through it. Soon, our minds are gearing up again, striving for understanding and mastery instead of seeking our Lord. Our Master, please forgive us, Lord, and help us to seek you above all else. I'm thankful that your peace is not an elusive goal hidden at the center of a complicated maze. Because we belong to you, we already enveloped in the peace that is inherited in your presence. The more we look to you, Jesus, the more your precious peace you give us. In your trustworthy name, Jesus Christ, amen. Alright, so this is going to be references from Proverbs chapter 3, verses 5, Jeremiah chapter 29, verse 13, and Romans chapter 5, verse 1, and Second Thessalonians chapter 3 verse 16 is where you can find references for all of those things that I mentioned. If you run into your problems, go directly to the book, go to the Bible. It would give you like the most knowledge you can absolutely understand, and you can deal with anything in your life. All right, so let's go ahead and get the shop opened up for today. Yesterday off camera, I come back up here later on that night, took care of our scrap pieces, and we are starting out today with $185,000, and we have 3,274 scrap pieces. That's a pretty good little chunk of scrap there, guys. I mean, that's literally over 1,500 parts that we've done scrap now. Over 1,500 parts. Can you imagine playing that game over 1,500 times? I know, right? But anyways, we're gonna hit our master power switch, get everything powered up. I like this. I like having the imagination of we got some uh some wires ran. The only thing we got to manually turn on is our computer, and then of course we got to manually check our voicemail. So we're going to power this thing up. We're going to get our tablet. We're gonna look at our Lambo. We're going to get started on this soon, guys, but we gotta take care of our customers. In fact, Johnny down there at the car dealership, the one that we did his Skyline GTR for him, he is actually wanting us to build this car. He said he has a buyer for it already. Uh, so they're gonna wait on us to do the car, but we got to take care of our customers first. So let's see what we got today. So we have got a 1995, looks like a Chevy Astro van, but they call it a bulk cargo van. But anyways, it says, "Hi, my sister recommended your shop. Truth be told, whenever I learned the location, I couldn't believe that there was even anything standing out here at all. And yet, here you are. A great garage. But back to the car. I'm coming with my van. I use it every day at work. It's a bit worn out, but it's not missing anything. Apart from the engine's crackling and it drops in power, I don't see any major problems, but maybe it's a matter of habit. Please take a closer look at the suspension, and the car is often carrying some loads. Do the routine checkup and make it usable for a few more years. Thanks." Uh, they never did give us our name, give him his name. But anyways, so a man's gonna be bringing his van by, and and we're gonna be doing some work on it. We're just gonna be doing the basic, routine maintenance. We're gonna go through exactly. We're gonna give him the Driven by Christ special on this one. He said he's lacking power, so we're gonna fix the power problem. Believe me, we can do that. So I think this is going to be our first time we're going to have a minivan strapped to our dyno. So let's go ahead and get this, call back our customer, and we'll wait for him to bring the van here. Alright, so he's then showed up with the van. It is in pretty rough condition. Let's see what we got going on. It does have a small block V8 into it, so we can increase the power of this vehicle. We definitely going to increase the power. He just doesn't realize where he's left his minivan at. But overall, he's even got a cool aftermarket steering wheel. Looks like the seats are pretty good, but it's a cargo van. So this guy, I think he explained that he does ministry work. So he goes out and does repairs like lawn care work and stuff like that. He's actually got a YouTube channel. But anyways, we're gonna take care of it for him. We're gonna get his van like almost back to brand new. So let's get this thing moved to our car wash bay, and we're gonna see what type of shape the body is actually in. So, alright, it's got a lot of dust and dirt on it for sure. Ooh, we got a lot of rust too. Alright, is it just the outside? The frame has got a little bit of rust on it, but luckily in this one we got a lot of room because this inside cabin is actually a cover you can unclip from the inside. Right here it's got clips that goes around this floorboard, and this center console comes out, and you can literally sit in the van and work on the motor. I've done this before. I've watched my dad work on his Chevy Astro van, which had a 400 small block out of a Pontiac into it. I've never been in a van that was so fast. I can only imagine getting a minivan and LS swapping it nowadays. But either way, we're gonna do what we can to help this man, because he does he does good things for other people. So we're gonna detail the inside. Alright, so inside the seats look fairly good. We cleaned up everything, but we do got to take care of some rust problems. So what we're going to do is we're going to get this on the first rack, and we're going to go ahead and work on some body pieces. But before we do anything, we are going to diagnose this car. We're going to see what we're up against. So let's see what we got going on. We'll do a fuel pressure test. The engine can't even be started. So right now we can't even test this motor out because it looks like it's got failed components all over it. So what we're going to do in steps here is, because the engine will not start, we can't even get it on our testing path to, to even figure out, what's going on with it. So we are going to further diagnose this problem. So if it can't start, we're going to immediately skip to the electronic meter, because this is an OBD1 vehicle. It doesn't actually have OBD2 port. I don't think it does. Yep, that's what I figured it was, OBD1. So we're going to have to check everything with an electronic meter and figure out, what is going on. Why won't this engine start? Alternator is shot. Starter shot. Uh, okay, everything's looking good on relays. Alright, so we got a bad alternator and a bad starter. Let's see what else. We can't really do a compression test. I don't think it'll let us do one. Yeah, because it won't even turn the motor over. So let's get up underneath here. We're gonna actually pull the center console out of the van and put it in the back where we can get right to the starter. And literally, guys, if you were to do this work, let me do the magical spin because something's wrong. Okay. Alright, oh, fine then. You don't want to let me open the door, I'll just take the whole door off. Alright, so how about that? Anyways, we're going to pull this center console, and that starter is literally going to be right there. We're also going to, these seats are made really easy to pull out, and most of the time you do got to pull out the front seats to move the center console, back. So what you would do, there's clips. There's normally like 6 clips. You got 2 right here and 4 on the floor. So undo these on both sides, the 4 on the floor, and then you can move that whole thing to the back, and your engine is literally like if you were looking at it right here. So we're going to reach up in here and we're going to pull this starter off. Oh, before we do that, safety first, guys, let's get the battery out of here. We'll do a customer service charge. See, I'm already teaching y'all bad habits. Before y'all even think about pulling a starter, make sure you pull the battery out, because there's a direct 12 volt big wire going to that, and it's also unfused. So if you get lit up by that starter, you're going to be filling that whole battery. But anyways, let's get over inside the vehicle, and we're going to get to the starter. Go ahead and break it loose. Alright, got it out. The alternator is bad, so it should be fairly easy to just undo this idler roller real quick. And we're gonna have to pull the oh man, no, why did the game do that? Alright, so I wasn't trying to remove the radiator. I would never pull a radiator out the van without draining it, so, but whatever, stuff happened. Apparently we broke the radiator trying to get to the cooling fan. Let's get the fan out of the way. We done made a big mess on the floor in the shop now, so that's going to be another thing to clean up. Guess we need to break out the cat litter. Jamie, get the cat litter. Alright, so anyways, Jamie gonna sit there and say, okay, she's actually sitting over here behind me, overlooking us work today. So, if she doesn't already look at the cameras enough in the office, she's got to sit over our backs and slave us. No, I'm just playing. But, let's get this belt off of here, and we're gonna pull this alternator off. And we're going to see if we can't rebuild these 2 parts and see if we can't even get this engine to turn over, so we see what we're up against. Alright, so let's take it. Oh, look at there. Looks like we're going to be able to fix our radiator. So maybe we just broke a hose or something. And it also, but unfortunately, it did not let us fix this. Go to all parts. It did not let us fix this alternator or the serpentine belt, which we already know we can't fix belts, so we're gonna have to hit O'Reilly's up and get a V8 starter, a serpentine belt, and an alternator, a I6B alternator. Oh, looky there, look what I missed, and I didn't see it. So let's go hit O'Reilly's up on the computer, start aggravating them for the day. We're gonna need a starter for a V8, which is gonna be in their electronics menu. So we gotta go over here, starter V8. We'll go ahead and get 4 of these. That way we got some in stock. We're gonna start building up our inventory and parts because we will be soon working on the Lamborghini, which is going to be pure profits to go towards the shop. So anyways, go ahead and get 4 starters from O'Reilly's. And we're gonna need a serpentine belt. We ain't gonna keep a lot of belts in stock because there are like 1,000 different belts on this game, but later on you will, so we're just gonna get the belt that we need. And this alternator is going to be in the electronics menu too. So we're gonna hit up O'Reilly's. We're gonna get about 4 of these too. So a little bit more investing in the parts, but that's okay. That's the reason why we got a drag car. We're gonna make our money back. Hopefully we can get this van fixed today in time enough where we can you know, get out there to the drag strip, because unfortunately the day that we was working on the boys' dad's BMW that he decided to tear up, it literally took our day up to the point to where I almost ran out of battery on my camera. So but either way, we're just waiting on parts now. So while we're waiting on parts, we are going to go ahead and we're going to do an oil change to this van because he said that he is lacking in power. So first thing we want to do is move the equipment just in case we do got to pull the engine out. If there is a failed motor component, we can go ahead and do that. Let's see, there's our drain plug. Let's get zoomed in on it. These are magnetized drain plugs. Remember guys, on high mileage motors, if the plug is magnetized, pull it out and look for any type of debris on that plug, because that plug will actually remove metal out of the oil. So, but anyways, alright, so we undid our drain plug, and the oil was in pretty rough condition. It wasn't a bright pretty gold, it was a dark brown. We're going to go ahead and remove our filter off too, and that filter was trash, so that lets you know that the oil needed to be changed. The filter was horrible, so we're going to get this out of the way. We got the oil out of it now. Let's look. Alright, so we're going to also need a sway bar. I already see that we're going to need that. Tie rod end links look okay. It looks like they're gonna need a new strut, which is a double wishbone shock absorber. So we're gonna do that. We're gonna get all new struts. Everything else looks to be okay. Wait a minute, hold on. Alright, so we also got a bad wheel hub. We do have some wheel bearings in stock, and it looks like the brakes are shot too. So it's gonna need a brake job. We're gonna have to do some suspension work. Wow. Yeah, the leaf springs, any type of suspension related on the back is absolutely destroyed. So we're gonna need 2 of these, 2 leaf springs, and 4 U-bolt springs. Let's see, are the plates good? Looks like the plates are good. We're going to break down the rear brakes and see what we're up against there. It looks like our hubs are going to be bad too, so let's start pulling these these tires and stuff off, and we'll start breaking down suspension components. So yes, the brakes are absolutely shot in this car. Go ahead and break it loose. Calipers are good. We're going to turn the rotors for them if they can be turned, but first thing we got to do is pull these wheel bearings out of here because they're gone. We're going to replace these bearings. So I got it out. Let's move to the other side. We'll also, you know, we'll check the tires too, make sure that they're up to par, make sure you don't need any new tires. He said give it a full workover, so we're going to give it the Driven by Christ special. We're checking everything, guys. Alright, so of course this wheel bearing is shot too. Go ahead and we're going to take our sway. We're probably going to have to break all this loose because we're going to have to get the shock absorber out, but I think we can do that without pulling the control arms and the tie rod ends and all that. I think we can do that without it. So, but we are going to have to get the sway bar out of here. So we're going to have to remove the sway bar end links, which they're still in good condition. So alright, yep, we can go ahead and pull our sway bar out, and we're going to pull out our double wishbone shock absorber on both sides. Alright, let's get this one out, and we may already actually have some of these built. I'm not sure, but we're going to find out. So first of all, we're going to see if we can actually fix any of this stuff. So we're going to separate it, and this, guys, please, if you are taking apart struts, use this tool to do it. This spring is loaded with enough force that it can come out of there and kill you if it struck you in the head in the right place. So I know it would definitely crush some bones in your face. It's got a lot of force. Think about it. If it's holding up the weight of a 5,000 pound van, just imagine what that 5,000 pounds flying at your face is going to do. Be sure to get one of these spring compressors, and not one of them cheap rental tools that you put on both sides and you screw it together and it compresses it. I've seen them slip off, and it's not a good thing because it's already sprung tight, but this thing tightens it up even more. Can you imagine it shooting out of there? So alright, so let's see if we can fix any of these suspension components before I start buying stuff. Alright, we was able to rebuild the brake calipers and replace the brake caliper cylinder seals. They're rubber seals that go, you know, inside the brake caliper. It's what seals off the piston to the fluid from where you're pushing in the brake pedal. But we're going to go ahead and turn these rotors. Okay, so the rotors are so bad we can't even turn them. So looks like that's going to be scrap metal. But let me see if okay, so it was a double wishbone shock absorber. So we do got some of them in stock already. We're going to get a new spring, new cap. So that's one less thing that we don't have to order today because we already have it in stock. Double wishbone shock, spring, and cap. And alright, so we got those put together, and we need to get this, we are going to see, I don't know if I actually have this sway bar. I don't think I do. Oh, look at there, we do. We already got a sway bar in stock, so that's even great, even better. Jesus is working with us today. We're gonna get this van thrown back together pretty quick. Alright, we're gonna go ahead and replace the sway bar end links, because a lot of the times, guys, whenever you break these things loose, these little ball joints right here love spinning, and you can't really tighten them down. They become a hassle, so it's just best to replace them once you got them out of there. But let's go ahead and slide this new shock absorber in. And new hardware, so we got that in. Let's move to the other side. That way our suspension will be holding up so we can get the wheel bearings in. Alright, and the new shock absorber. So this thing's going to feel like he's driving on a cloud now. It's going to be really nice. No noise, no anything. Let's go ahead and get our wheel hub press tool out. We're going to press in this hub. Put our front wheel hub cap on. All this is a dust shield that keeps moisture and dirt from getting into the bearing, so it lasts a lot longer. And we got ventilated disc brakes. It looks like we're gonna have to order some more brake disc here soon because we only got 2 left. So we're putting brand new ones, new pads, and we just rebuilt these calipers. And we're not putting performance brakes on this van. It's not a race van, so the regular stuff will work. We're gonna check the tires before I put them on there. Let's go ahead and get our wheel hub pressed in. Put a new wheel cap, hub cap, there we go. And get this brand new rotor out the package. New brake pads, and we're gonna hang the caliper. Alright, so front end brakes are good. It looks like we got all the suspension taken care of on the front end. Jamie just let us know that O'Reilly's dropped off our starters and everything that we ordered this morning. So, oh, this is old school. It don't even have an electronic fuel pump. It's got a lift pump on the side of the motor. That's whenever you know you're running some old school stuff. This was before they had electronic fuel pumps. There was a little lift pump on the side of the motor that was driven by the timing gear, and that was your fuel pump. Basically, this engine could run without a battery. Once you turn that engine over, it was like a lawnmower. The distributor had a magneto into it that didn't require a battery, and you know, the engine could sit there and run on its own. It had its own fuel pump, so it could get its own fuel, it could get its own air, and it produced its own power for its electronic ignition system. Guys, a lot of these old vehicles that are like that, they're going to be wanted in the end times, because all these new model vehicles and stuff like that, that if anything electronically ever happens, if we ever have like one of them solar flares or somebody accidentally sets off an EMP, all these new vehicles won't run. But guess what? These old vehicles, they will run. And most of the old vehicles, you could run any type of fuel. Like if you were running grain alcohol, like E85 or whatever, it could run off of that. All you had to do was adjust the timing and you could manually do it. So a lot of people complained about the old stuff. Yes, it didn't have a lot of power, but it was very dependable. So just a small amount of old school knowledge for old vehicles. Don't hate on the old vehicles, because they will be the only ones left running in the end. Alright, anyways, we got let's get back here, and we're gonna, let's order our suspension pieces, so, from O'Reilly's, and go ahead and get them. Lord, we forgot to clear our list again, so we got a big, we got a huge shopping list right now that we don't need. So we're going to need, we'll go ahead and get 4 shock absorbers for the back. We'll get them on the way. Leaf springs, it looks like we're going to be handling them, so we'll do 4 of them. And the U-bolts, we're going to need like a pack of them. We're going to go ahead and get like 20 of these things, because you're going to these things are constantly getting broke. So we got that. And the leaf spring plates, more than likely, you can fix most of them that you encounter, so I'm not going to order any leaf spring plates, but we are going to go ahead and clear our list. Alright, so they're on the way with suspension components. We've got our electronics, so let's go ahead and drop the van back down, and by the time our suspension components get here, we can go ahead and break down the back. But, alright, I'm going to go ahead and put this alternator on. There we go, fresh out the box. And Jamie's gonna have to get we ain't turning in our cores. We always pay a core fee, because we use all of our old like alternators, anything that we can scrap to get performance points with. And you can make money off of scrapping like old alternators and stuff. Take them apart and melt them down. I mean, That's got copper, it's got aluminum, it's got different types of metals in there, but you just got to have a furnace that's hot enough to melt it. So I like watching that stuff on YouTube. Them guys recycling stuff that people just throw in the trash. I mean, you're literally throwing money away. But anyways, let's get the serpentine belt on. No more belt squilling. We're going to put a new idler tensioner on there. And we was able to fix the cooling fan blades that I guess we accidentally tore something up taking this off of here. And we're going to put a new radiator in. So, see, this is an old school radiator. You don't have to have an electronic cooling fan on these. This fan pulls air through the radiator and it's driven by the motor. And if we could actually do this in the game, I would actually delete this fan, put a sensor right here in the thermostat neck where it would turn and put an electronic cooling fan on the back of this radiator. That way, whenever whatever my temperature control switch was set at, it would electronically turn on this cooling fan and pull air through here, but it wouldn't be putting a drag on the motor. Taking this fan off, that's like a 10 horsepower gain, realistically, because whenever I had my 383 stroker in my 89 Chevy, it had one of these fans on there, and I went to an electronic cooling fan, and you could definitely tell the difference. The engine would also rev quicker too. But anyways, let's go ahead and move on the inside of the vehicle, and we're going to put in the starter from the inside. It's a lot easier going through the floor and putting it in. Alright, get our wires connected. Alright, so we got an alternator, we got that on there. So now we're just going to put in one of our batteries we got on our tool cart for right now, while his is still charging, and we're going to see what we're up against. Let's see what we got going on, because remember, he said it had some bad performance issues, so we're going to fix his performance problems. Let's do a fuel pressure test. Engine needs to be complete. I could have thought that the engine was complete. I don't know what is missing. Okay, so it won't let me turn the motor over. Even I know, guys, it does not have oil in the motor, but just doing a simple compression test, spinning it over a few times just to see what our compression is, should be okay. But I guess we're going to go ahead and put oil back into the engine. Hopefully I don't have to drain it again. Yes, I understand that. I'm trying to... Okay, we got to get up underneath the vehicle. Alright, so let's throw this oil filter on real quick so we can do a compression test and see what's going on inside this engine. Alright, let it back down. I already see problems with the distributor in the back. It looks like it's going to need an all-around tune-up. This whole distributor is shot. So what we're going to do is, he complained of having performance issues. So performance upgrades we're going to do. We are going to get a high flow air filter. We are going to get a high fire ignition system with wires and plugs, and we're also going to run a high fuel delivery fuel filter, so that lift pump can pull in some fuel a little bit easier than what it did before. So let's go ahead and break down the ignition. I really don't need the tools. I can do this all on my own. And this is the clip, guys, that I tell you about that's always missing, that nobody can ever find. If you're ever building a car and it says clip is missing, remember, you can't see this one because it's hidden behind the distributor up underneath the air filter. But that is the wonderful clip that nobody can ever find, and they just sell the vehicle. I've seen so many YouTube videos where the mystery clip is found. But I'm gonna pull off this rotor button. We're gonna pull the whole distributor. We're gonna get him a high fire distributor. Let's get this air filter off. We could upgrade the car, but then that's going to affect his fuel economy. We just want him to efficiently burn the amount of fuel that he is already getting, which the more efficient an engine is, the more power it's going to create. We could probably also open up his exhaust, put some headers on here, and that should flow a lot better air and give him a little bit more performance. So we're not going to get too wild with it. Well, we're going to go ahead and undo the exhaust manifold and get some new gaskets for it. And we're going to order some performance headers for it. And now that we got that out of the way, it makes the plugs really easy to get to. You're not having to fight around the exhaust headers and all that other stuff just to get to these plugs. So, alright. Plugs are pretty bad off too. We're gonna run a set. Of course, we always run performance plugs. That's the only thing we put in vehicles on here. Alright, so we got that out. Let's go ahead and break out our good spark plugs. We'll go ahead and put them into here. Alright. Make sure you set the gap for these guys before you put them into the cylinder head. Every vehicle manufacturer has a gap tolerance that you want to put on your plugs, and since we are going to be running a high fire ignition system, we may actually need to close the gap, you know, just a little bit more, about a couple of thousandths more than what it normally is, because we are going to be slinging some spark into this cylinder now. Dang, it looks like we're fixing to have to order another set of plugs. In fact, we're going to go ahead and do that. We're going to add these spark plugs to our electronics. We're going to tag this header, this distributor, and this air filter. We've already got, in fact, I'll go ahead and put it in. We've already got the high flow fuel filter. Alright, so let's go over here to our performance section. Back up. Come on, slow computer. There we go. Alright, so we're going to need a set of headers for this car. So we're going to get two of them. They're stainless steel, TIG welded, flow tested headers. So very good quality part. We're going to need an ignition. This is a high fire ignition distributor. A lot better spark, a lot more power. We're also going to get a high flow air filter. Alright, but we are going to need the cap and rotor button too. So what we're going to do, go back into the tuning menu, get rid of all this off of here, go back to your search, go to engine, and we will scroll over. Alright, right here we go. It was the ignition A, I think. I forgot what type of ignition cap it had, but I think it's this first one right here, because it is a V8, it's not a straight 6. So we're going to get that. We're going to need the cap and rotor button, and I forgot, I think it was, let's check our inventory real quick and check on these wires, because I forgot exactly which wires. It is V8 OHVF style wires, so that's the ones that we're going to need. OHVF right there we go, and we get our O'Reilly's discount, so we ain't paying full price for everything. So we're gonna wait on them to get that stuff here, and we're gonna liven this puppy up, son. This thing's gonna be ready to run. But anyways, while we're waiting on those performance parts, let's get this thing up in the air, and we're going to get the back end tore down and see what we're up against here. Man, I don't know what's been going on today. I've been dehydrated all day. Alright, so looks like the calipers are in decent condition. We're going to go ahead and do a brake service. We are going to rebuild those calipers. The rotors can be turned, so that's good. This rear knuckle housing, I'm not liking the way it's looking, so we're going to go ahead and pull the drive axle out the back. and get this brake dust shield. I'm actually surprised this van's got disc brakes on the back. We're gonna see if we can't clean up this rear knuckle housing, which it also holds a bearing into this, so very important. Need to replace the bearings in this stuff. I don't think none of this stuff's ever been done. And he's loaded this thing down. We done tore up the leaf spring, so I know we done put some stuff onto this van. But you know, it works for the Lord, so we're gonna get him rolling. Alright, leaf spring plate looks good. We'll pull this off. Now we're gonna actually leave this hanging up here because this is gonna be holding our drive axle into place. We don't want none of this stuff to fall down on one side, so we're gonna leave that there, and we're gonna see what we can't rebuild so we can save this guy as much money as possible. Yep, we can reuse those clips. And we're gonna also fix his old original exhaust manifolds, and we'll put them up on sale for eBay, since you know, we're gonna be replacing it with some high flow stainless steel race headers. Alright, let's get over here and we're gonna turn this rotor. We ain't used this machine in a while. Alright, there it goes. Watch out, boy. Talk about getting something slung into your eye. But we're gonna let it cut that rotor, and I couldn't remember. Did it let me do the? Nope. The housing was shot, so we're gonna have to order a knuckle housing for the back, because they let the bearings go too far, and once the bearings go and they start eating up the hub, they're no good. You just got to replace the whole hub. So let's hit O'Reilly's regular car menu up, and we'll go ahead and get 4 of them just to have some extra ones, because most people never do replace these in time and they get destroyed. Let me look in my parts real quick and see what the status of that okay, so the solid axle in the back was good. We was able to fix everything else, and of course we're gonna get some new bushings and U-bolts. We're just waiting on them to get here, and they should be here by the time we get done with this. Alright, so let's alright, so there we go. We got our other parts in. We're gonna wait on our rear suspension components. We did get our performance parts in, so we're gonna go ahead and move up to the front of the car, or the van now. Let's see. Let's go ahead and put these headers on here. Let's see what these things look like. Ooh, look at there. Yeah, look at them big ports. We got huge exhaust ports coming out of the head, and then it chokes it down, and looks really good. Looks really, really good. He's gonna pop the hood. They're gonna think this thing's got a race motor in it. Anyways, let's go ahead and get the high fire ignition put into there. The good rotor. We got a good ignition cap. Alright, and then the wires. Alright, so I know y'all probably looking. See, this distributor is vacuum controlled. Whenever you floor this V8, what it does is, by vacuum, it electronically controls the advance and the retard of the firing of the motor. So whenever you gas on it, you lose vacuum, so it advances the ignition to, you know, to fire just a little bit sooner. That gives you a lot more top end power. But whenever you let off the gas, it builds up a vacuum into the intake manifold, or your carburetor, and there's a vacuum hose that runs from the carburetor to this distributor, and then that retards your timing, and you know you're getting a good solid fire at TDC. So that's how this component works there. Let's go ahead and get the air filter on there, and let's see if we can't shine that cover up. I don't want to put no boo-boo looking cover on there, and it's not going to let us do it. So it looks like it's just going to have the regular cover. He ain't going to care about all of that. So looks okay. It's got a little bit of rust on it, but nothing major. Now don't remember, guys, see, I'm already fixing to forget these clips. Make sure you put the clips on the distributor. It doesn't tell you, it will let you keep going, and I think they done that on purpose just to aggravate people. So, you know, joke's on us, right? But anyways, we got all of our performance parts onto here. That's just gonna wake this this old van on up. So, let's go ahead and start assembling the back now. We're gonna at least get our leaf spring in because they just dropped off our other parts. So O'Reilly's has been staying pretty quick about delivering our parts. So gotta give them credit for that. What, Jamie? Oh, I thought Jamie was saying something to me in the background. Oh, O'Reilly's. Anyways, my wife is deciding to be funny in the background while we're working. Ain't you got some office work to do, girl? You're finished? Okay. Alright, so it looks like she's going to be hanging out in the shop with us today, trying to be the backseat mechanic. But, we're going to put this new leaf spring plate on there, get our U-bolts in, and we will be able to take this shock out of here without all this falling on the floor. Safety first. Alright. Come on. I want to remove this shock. They also brought our shocks in. Oh, wait a minute. I already see something else that's bad. What the world? I thought this thing had a lift pump on the side of the motor. Okay, so we got a destroyed fuel pump back here. Alright, so what we would have to do is get our little drain bucket and pull it over here, and we're gonna have to drain the fuel tank, because it looks like, actually no, there's an access panel. I forgot. That's right. In the back of the van, there is an access panel where you can get to the fuel pump. It won't let me open up the back door, so you know what? If you don't let me open it, I'll just remove it. It's up to you. Yeah, fuel pump is bad. For some reason. There we go. Alright, so yeah, we're going to pull that fuel pump out. See, it let us access it, so good. We didn't have to drain the tank on that. Now, it had a lift pump on the side of the motor. I guess, since we're going to do away with the lift pump and go with an electronic, fuel pump with a return line, so I guess we needed more fuel delivery. Maybe it did have a beefed up carburetor on it already. Anyways, let's see if we can't fix that fuel pump. Nope. Looks like, but I do got some extra fuel pumps, so we don't have to worry about that. That is good to have extra parts, because we already got a brand new fuel pump in the back. I remember I had some that we was able to rebuild. So alright, new fuel pump. Let's go ahead and get this thing back up in the air. I saw that. I would have forgot about it if I didn't take care of it. Alright, so bushings are in. This whole side is completed. Let's go ahead and get our new brake disc on, because we got the one to replace it on the machine, the brake lathe in the back. New calipers. Alright. Go ahead and throw the tire back on, because we done completely rebuilt the side, so there's no reason for us to get over here no more. I'm ready to see what type of horsepower this thing's gonna produce on the dyno since we've upgraded it. It would be the first time DrivenByChrist Auto has had a minivan on their dyno. People are probably wondering what in the world is going on over here. They are putting their minivans, their customer minivans, on the dyno. So let's go ahead and break down this drive axle. Normally these things are a pain to get out because the bearings are seized up in there. So alright, right here is where your bearings would sit at, up into here, and then your shaft would go through and it would ride on it. But since the bearing locked up, it destroyed the knuckle. So we got to get that off of there. We're going to leave this shock holding this rear end up while we pull the rest of the suspension components off. And to stay fast, since we've already got the parts, we're just going to go ahead and pull everything off, replace it with new, and you know, at the end of the day, we will I'll go through and see what all parts I can fix. If they can't be fixed, then they'll be scrapped out for performance parts points. Because that's really all the scrap is worth, except for, you know, increasing the value of parts, which, you know, that's just money. You know, that's greed. So we're not going to do that. You know, we want to go faster, but we'll work to make our money for our cars. We don't have to increase the value of one car to sell it for a astronomical amount of money. It's just no reason for it. But anyways, we'll go ahead and we got our jack up underneath here right now because I went ahead and just pulled everything down. I forgot we had those little jack stands we can put up to hold stuff up, so we didn't have to hang this by its shock. We just put it up underneath there. Alright, new knuckle housing, leaf springs. Once we get this into here, then we should be able to move our rear end jack stand from up underneath the vehicle. Never know what you're up against. Safety first. Alright. That's in there. New hub. Let's see if we can't clean this drive axle up. Said it's at 58%. Should let us do it. 58% is not bad. That means we should just be able to knock the bearings off of there and put a new set of bearings on and you're ready to go. Yep, we was able to fix all of that. Nothing broke. Alright. Slide this drive axle in with the new bearings, and then once you tighten these bolts down, it will squeeze the bearings into place. Alright, so new brake disc. We will go turn this rotor on this side. We're gonna go swap the other one off of the machine. Just regular brake calipers, and we're gonna put the tire back on because it looks like we are done back here. Man, looking at that motor up there, boy. It looks like a race motor. But let me get over here and go get our rotor off the brake lathe, and we're gonna swap it out for this other one. Alright, it's gonna be working. Yeah, alright, it started. Lee. I don't understand it. I even drank one of them little hydration packets. It's just crazy. But alright, since we got the interior pulled out, we got everything pulled out on the inside except for the steering wheel, we are going to go ahead and we're going to pull the front windshield out because we're not going to let this man roll down the road like this. He does ministry work lawn care, so we're going to actually pull out all these electronics, and we're going to get him some new bumpers, and we're going to try to fix what we can, but we're going to make sure he is ready to roll. Jamie may be having to go down there to the DMV, and well, it looks like this brake booster has got some wear and tear, so what we're going to do with that, since we got new brake calipers all around, we're going to go ahead and replace this master cylinder too, but I got to drain it first so we don't get oil everywhere. Alright, we probably can rebuild that too. Let's check out our body parts and then we'll work on that. Alright, so we was able to fix the mirror, the door, the rear door. And we're also going to be doing some welding to this van because it does have a lot of spots that we're going to have to cut out and patch up. So we are going to have to be repainting this van, and we're going to give him a cool color van. We ain't going to send him out of here looking all stock. So alright, so let's rebuild this master cylinder. And that was it. Just a couple of seals and it was ready to go. Let's go ahead and move our welding machine over, and we're going to go ahead and do our welding and body work. So it's going to take a little bit while. I'm going to probably have to work on this for a little bit, but right now, just to get caught up, because I got my camera let me know I only got 5 minutes left to record. This battery, stinks in this camera, guys. I'm sorry, but it only lets me record an hour at a time. So anyways, on our next episode, we're going to be finishing out the body and dealing with the grinding. Then, grinding any repairs, any body work. I'm going to go ahead and put in the order for all the electronics, like our headlights, our tail lights, our windows. And on the next episode, we will start doing our grinding and welding onto this and getting ready to put this vehicle on the test path, and we will be dyno tuning this vehicle to make sure that he has plenty enough power. He said that he did not have a power, and famous saying, asking and the Lord shall give. Well, guess what? We're going to give it to him. We're going to give him some power out of this van. He's definitely going to be able to feel the difference. So anyways, guys, we're going to go ahead and take our lunch break now, and I'm going to catch you on the next episode, and we're going to finish out this van. We may even run this van at the drag strip just to see what it'll do in the quarter, just for giggles. We got to make sure it performs right. But anyways, guys, we'll catch y'all on the next episode after lunch. Later.